guys, welcome back to the channel where I cover missing persons, unsolved cases, crime news, and more. So everything went well yesterday for those that were asking, and I do appreciate your messages. My procedure went pretty well, and hopefully that's all done and over with. So yeah, so we're gonna jump right back into the Maddie Soto case. Grizzly True Crime, who is awesome. I really love her work, guys. And you know, I've shared her on the channel before. She's gotten a hold through a FOIA of the video interviews of Jennifer Soto and Stefan Stearns. Now, this first one is Jen Soto. It's almost 3 hours long, so I'm probably not going to cover the entire 3 hours because it is super, super long. So, and of course, I want you guys to head over to her channel, and her commentary is always great. So, without further ado, let's jump into this interview. This was done on March 1st.
Actually,
I have a nice couch she gets me put on, but she's not making herself comfortable, that's for sure. And in my opinion, she shouldn't. Make her nest. Some of y'all may pick up on that sort of it, but really, it's disgusting. When they make them sit in like these interrogation rooms, even if this is a nicer one, and they kind of make them sit there by themselves for a few minutes. I don't know, I always think that's interesting.
Told me. My name's Kevin. I work for the Orange County Sheriff's Office. I'm with Matt, Detective Smallwood from Kissimmee. The goal, obviously, Kissimmee Police Department's doing most of this investigation. We're at the Orange County Sheriff's Office. Our people, we have resources out there, obviously doing active. So it's kind of a joint effort. So Detective Small is kind of, we're going to go read through the timeline of everything else. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we're going to go from there. All right.
You want me to go through the whole timeline?
Yeah, we'll start with Sunday. Take me through Sunday.
Okay.
Alright, like I said, this is March 1st. Now, she was found on March 1st, but this interview was conducted like a few hours before Maddie's remains were found in St. Cloud.
Sunday. Can I have tissue?
Yes, ma'am. Actually, grab some. Actual tissues?
No, that'll work.
I can give you this whole roll.
Now, Gisela also mentioned this, and I cringed too. She's like, oh, I mean, it's, what about the situation is funny? I know some folks will say, well, it was an awkward laugh, but everything with Jen is awkward, and it's just nothing makes sense with the way she behaves ever. And of course, he gives her paper towels, which I find funny too.
So Sunday, birthday party. She spent the whole day at my mom's house. They celebrated with the whole family. I was at work. I just started a new job last week or the week before.
Okay. Where's that at?
Walt Disney World at Coronado Springs, front desk concierge.
Okay.
I was finishing up my last day of, no, it wasn't even my last day of training. I was still in the middle of training. Sunday in the middle of training, I couldn't miss to go to her birthday party. So I went to work. It was my family all day. She had the best day. She was so happy when I got home and I saw her. At my house around 8:30 that night. I wasn't home. She got dropped off alone. About 10 to 15 minutes later, Stefan showed up.
At your house in Kissimmee?
At my house in Kissimmee, he called me. Or he texted me, I'm not sure. But he let me know he was there and that she was getting ready for bed. She was doing her routine. So she took her nighttime meds and she got in the shower to get ready for bed.
What meds? What does she take?
She takes hydroxyzine.
Okay. What is it for?
It's for anxiety and for sleep.
Okay.
Now, could she take that by herself, or would he have given that to her?
I think she took it by herself. She got home and she had already taken it.
How do you know that?
That's what he told me.
That's what he told you. Okay.
That's what he told me. Oh, yeah, because we believe every darn thing that comes out of Monster's mouth. Yeah. And also, I believe that was the meds that she was not taking when she was staying with her grandma. But in my opinion, you guys let me know your thoughts as well. She only had to take that anxiety medication because of Stefan and probably her mom. I think her home life was the biggest problem for her.
He was there when you got home? You got home, they were already at the apartment? Okay.
I don't like her taking her meds without somebody visually watching her, because I don't want her to accidentally grab the wrong pill. She's comfortable enough to grab the pill while, but I'm like, no, I need to watch you take them.
Has there ever been an issue with that in the past where she took too many or took the wrong thing? Or just like a thought in your mind?
No, just a thought in my mind, just me being hypervigilant. I want to physically watch her take her meds and watch her grab two, take them. I don't ever want there to be an accident of she took too many, or she took, my biggest fear is that she would take Adderall by accident, her daytime meds.
Got it.
I got home around 10:30. I started getting ready for bed myself. I started eating and taking my meds because I have to take meds. When I went to take my meds, I realized, oh my God, I forgot to take my Saturday night's meds, which is why I felt so weird and so abnormal and not myself Sunday while I was at work. Everyone at work noticed I was acting different and not being myself. Like, I couldn't smile in front of the guests. I felt this wave of depression that I hadn't felt in years. It was my bipolar symptoms coming up again that I've been medicating myself for all this time. I realized
Everything is about Jen. Me, me, me. And that alone makes me sick. But yeah, there's many, many other things that make me sick about Jen Soto. And I know she's got a few supporters out there. And everyone has a right to their opinion. But, you know, the fact that her daughter couldn't take her own medication, she just turned 13. so I think she can handle it. And also, of note, you know how she says she gets home at 10:30ish and then she goes to bed at 11? There's this whole story which is hard to believe that comes up in some of the interviews. Stefan was the main one that said it, that they watched Sister Act. How the hell did y'all watch Sister Act if everyone was in bed within 30 or so minutes when you got home, Jen? It doesn't work. No, it doesn't.
I forgot to take my meds, and I said, you guys, I need a good night's sleep. I need to take my meds. I sent them to sleep upstairs in the guest bedroom so that I could get a good night's sleep. Suggested that we all sleep together in the same bed together, but not the easiest person to sleep with. She rolls around, she punches, she kicks. We have a king size bed, and she typically sleeps on one side, and she'll end up on my side when we wake up.
Okay.
So I asked her, I'm like, no, please, I need a good night's sleep. If you guys could go upstairs and let me sleep. I had asked Stefan to take her to school in the morning.
We'll go to Sunday. So Sunday you took your meds. What meds, if you don't mind me asking, what meds do you take? And like, how does it, do they put you to sleep deep? Does it help you fall asleep, or does it help regulate you? What kind of happens when you take the meds?
So they do all of the above. They make me sleepy. They help me stay asleep, and they help me function. So I'm stable all day. They only work well if I've got a good night's sleep and if I've eaten with them the night before when I take them, or the night I take them.
Again, she put herself first, sending them up to room 4 because I, Jen Soto, need a good night's sleep. Okay, so why didn't you say, Stefan, you go to room 4, Maddie, you go sleep downstairs? Or let Maddie sleep with you, and if you're going to be that knocked out, which is what you're stating, that these medications knock you out, why couldn't your now 13-year-old daughter, who apparently sleeps with you all the time, sleep in your king-size bed? It doesn't make sense. It just does not make sense.
The medication is called Geodon. Generic brand is called Ziprazidone. I took my meds, and then I told them to start getting ready for bed, to start heading upstairs and get ready because it was already almost 11 o'clock. It's past her bedtime. She needs to go to sleep. So I sent them upstairs. I think he may have come down at one point to pee before bed, and then he went back upstairs. He uses my restroom because the roommates upstairs don't want to share a restroom with a male. Yeah, so he uses my restroom.
No, he uses your restroom because he's a perv, and the roommates don't want to be anywhere near his nasty ass. That's the truth, Jen. They don't want to be near him. And I know that one roommate who he took the pictures under the door, she's sick of him completely. She was sick, and if you hear her interview, I feel for the girl, the woman. I hope that she gets through all of her issues, but she needs to really be testifying. And sadly, she lived in a very bad place. But again, Stefan is a pervert and an alleged, we have to be careful, murderer. Okay? Now, I believe he's all the above and so much more, but he's innocent until proven guilty. Yeah. But I can tell you, with all the images that they have, the all CSAM stuff, that to me is fact. I still wonder about Maddie's death. You know, about if there was further involvement from Jen. I still have some questions as far as that is concerned.
You're fine. Sunday night he came downstairs, maybe overnight, to use the restroom.
Yeah, and then he went back upstairs and they went to sleep. Or, right, I think they went to sleep.
Okay.
I went to sleep. I was woken up at some time. For the longest time, I've been saying he woke me up at 8 o'clock in the morning because I assumed he was taking her to school and getting ready for school. But in reality, I don't know what time he woke me up. The sun was out a little bit. It was still a little dark. And I was very sleepy. When I got up, I was kind of drunk. But he came in to walk the dog, to put the leash on the dog and walk him.
Was the dog in the room with you?
Yes.
So did he wake you up on purpose, or was it just kind of like the causation of him opening the door and you realizing somebody was there?
Yeah, the causation of him putting the leash on the dog, because the way the dog reacted, he gets very nervous and will urinate if you put the leash on him too directly. You have to like be nice and talk to him. He's a very he's a nervous dog. Yeah. So
All right, yeah, I know some of this stuff sounds repetitive. You kind of wonder if it's the same interviews we've heard, but it's actually not. So she does get into some new territory, but you could tell her story / script on a lot of things is she kind of sticks to it for the most part.
I got up to try to help him, and he said, no, go back to sleep. I'm fine, I got this. And I said, you sure? He said, yeah. So I laid back down and went to sleep. I heard noise in the kitchen, but I'm not sure who it could have been. Getting ready, but it could have been Stefan, it could have been any of my roommates. I fell asleep again, and I didn't wake up, I think, until 9 o'clock in the morning.
Did you ever leave the bedroom in that time frame?
No.
So he came in, you were kind of awoken up based on him interacting with the dog, but you stayed in bed, you didn't leave the bedroom. So if you woke up at like 9, so you never...
That morning.
Monday morning.
No.
So the last time you would have been Sunday evening?
Sunday.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
You're fine.
I want to see her. Yeah.
Take a minute. Okay? While you take a minute, I was going to ask you earlier, has anybody reached out to you during the time that you've been investigating this? Had anything else? Negative, positive, neutral?
My best friends have all been in contact with me just to try to help me. They're like, setting up Facebook groups, flyers,
No negative interactions with the public or anything? Nobody's like reached out with tips or accusations or anything like that?
Not that I've seen. I've been avoiding social media because my family's telling me to not go on.
Would you be okay with our digital people looking at your phone to verify there's no stuff coming into socials, texts, things like that?
That's fine.
Do you have the phone?
Yeah.
What they'll do is they'll plug it in, they'll do a forensic download of it so they have the data. That way they can go through it and say, we did receive things, we didn't receive things, here's the communications in and out, things like that, so we can verify that for you.
That's fine.
What's your password on it?
030288.
030288. Okay.
Is that a birthday?
My birthday.
It's your birthday?
Yeah.
My birthday's tomorrow. Right.
Today's the 1st. I didn't even know.
Wow. So do you guys think that this is real? Real tears? Or she's faking it? I'm curious, your thoughts on this part. She's very upset. And of course we know she turns it off. Like that. Like a faucet. Okay? But she's like, oh, it's my birthday tomorrow. Woo. Okay, well, it was Maddie's birthday, and she had a party a few days later, and then she was killed. Allegedly. So, well, she was killed, but allegedly by your boyfriend. So, yeah.
This is the worst birthday
This is the worst birthday ever. I think Maddie would probably agree about that as well for hers. And considering they found her later this day and her birthday was the next day, Jen, I think she'll never forget this date. Ever.
That way they can get that going so we can get it back to you before we're out of here. We don't keep it from you.
That was okay.
So you said about 9 o'clock on Monday you wake up.
Yeah. I wake up. I have a doctor's appointment. I leave sometime between 9:30 and 9:45. And I head over there. It's blood work appointment. The appointment's for 10:15, but they take a while to see me.
Where was your appointment at?
LabCorp. And do you want me to tell you exactly which one?
Sure.
Oh wait, I have it on my phone.
When we get it back, we'll go back to it.
It's, if you need to Google it, it's the LabCorp across the street from the Loop in Kissimmee.
Okay, got it.
Look how quick she turned off those tears. Ooh, oh, the LabCorp? Yeah, that's across from the Loop. Yeah.
Had my appointment. I finished there sometime between 11:15. Then I headed home. When I got home, Stefan was there. I had talked to him a little bit earlier while I was waiting for my blood work appointment, and he let me know, oh, I'm so sorry, I left my phone at home by accident. School, everything went great. She got up super early, got up really quick. She slept most of the way in the car. I asked her multiple times if she wanted McDonald's, but she said no. Because that was the plan, was that they were going to stop at McDonald's that morning and go get breakfast.
Okay.
He said that he had gone to the vape shop and they were closed and they didn't open. So he waited there for a while and left, and then said he was going to go back later. When I saw him at the house, everything was normal. We were chatting, we were talking, he was acting normal. He was sitting in my computer chair just messing around on his phone. While we were hanging out, he mentioned something along the lines of, oh man, I've been avoiding this phone update for a really long time. I should probably update it now. And I said, do it. Don't avoid it. Just get it over with. And he updates his phone. And then tells me, oh my god, I don't know what button I just pressed, but I just factory reset my entire phone. And I said, how the hell does that happen? That gives you options now when you reset your phone? He goes, yeah, apparently I wasn't paying attention and I just pressed the button and it happened. And I said, oh, that's unfortunate. That sucks. Later on, he tells me he's going to go back out, and I think this is around 12:30, 1 o'clock.
Still on Monday?
Yes, still Monday. 12:30 in the afternoon, 1 o'clock in the afternoon. He tells me he's going to go back out. He's going to stop at a few gaming shops. And then he'll meet me at the house at 2:30 so we can together. He left. I hung out in the house for a while, was waiting for 2:30 to roll around. 2:30 rolls around, and I'm already calling Stefan, and he's not picking up his phone. 2:30 comes, I leave. About 10 minutes later, I get a phone call from him going, I just got back home. I left my phone home again. I'm so sorry. How long ago did you leave? And I said, about 10 minutes ago. He goes, I'm so sorry. I missed it. I really wanted to go with you. And I'm just like, it's fine. I figured he wasn't going to make it because when I looked at the time when he left and said he was going to visit 3 shops, I didn't think he had enough time to visit them. He told me while he was gone that he got a flat tire somewhere on 182. The wheel just shredded and fell apart. So he was changing the tire, and it took him a really long time to do it. He said he hurt his thumb while changing the tire, like the frame or something slipped and something pinched his finger, and he ended up having to yank it out. And he said he hurt his finger.
I want to touch on something real quick. When you were calling him, he eventually told you that he left his phone there. Did you hear the phone at the house?
No. If it was anywhere, it would have been upstairs and I wouldn't have heard it. It would have been in the guest bedroom.
Do you typically go upstairs?
Who, me?
Yes.
Only if I'm doing laundry.
That was all. I was just curious if you had heard the phone when you were trying to call him that day.
I didn't. So he tells me all that. I get off the phone with him. I'm waiting. Wait for about an hour and 10 minutes. 4:04, the bell rings, and I'm waiting. I'm the first in line. And she doesn't come out.
You were in your car?
I was in my car, in the car line, yeah.
Okay.
At this point, it's been a few minutes. She should have been out by now, because she's usually one of the first kids out. She knows I'm in the front line. And I'm holding up the line behind me, because there's kids getting in the cars behind, and they're all waiting. They can't get around me, right? So I start calling her, forgetting that I have her phone on me. I had found her phone earlier that morning. She had left it at home. And I brought it with me because she does this often. She does leave her phone.
Where was the phone at in the house?
It was on top of the dresser in her bedroom.
Downstairs or upstairs? I've never been in your house.
Downstairs.
Okay.
So, just so you know, I have a 4-bedroom townhouse.
Okay.
The living room has a partition in it, a fake wall kind of thing. That's got her bedroom in it. That's got a bed, a dresser, and a desk on it. Does she sleep there? No. She'll hang out there. She'll use her computer and hang out there. That's her hangout spot. But she primarily sleeps with me every night in my bed. That's because I know the roommates wake up super early in the morning. They're going to be in the kitchen. They're going to wake her up if she's sleeping out in the living room. So I don't.
So your bedroom downstairs, her makeshift bedroom downstairs, guest bedroom upstairs?
Yes.
Got it.
Her phone was on her dresser. When I found it, I was like, oh my god, she's left her phone again. That's great. I brought it with me to the school because I was just gonna yell at her and then just hand it to her so she could have something to do on our way home. 4:10 rolls around and she's still not out, or 4:09, and then at this point I'm feeling the pressure from the cars behind me. I'm like, okay, they're all full, they're all waiting for me to leave and she's not here yet. So I take off and I'm thinking, maybe I missed her, maybe I forgot to tell her I was picking her up from school today, because I don't know if she knew that I wasn't working. I don't know if she knew if I was off. So I asked, I don't know if I told her that I was going to get her. So I left thinking maybe she walked, that's pretty close to school. If I can't pick her up at school, that's where I tell her to. I drove the path she would have walked. I didn't see her. I got to the office. And she goes, no, it's a little too early. And I said, okay, let me go drive back down and wait along the path she would walk and just wait. And I parked and I waited. I waited minutes. She still wasn't there, and I looked at the time, and I'm like, okay, she should be back at my mom's office by now. Maybe she took a different path and I didn't see. So I went, no, she's still not here. And I'm like, that's really strange. So I call, I don't know if I text or I call. I think I text her. And I asked, hey, or I called, no, I called her. I asked, and she said, no, she didn't make it to first or second period. And I said, what do you mean? She was dropped off close to the school. She should have been in school. She goes, no, she didn't make it to first, second period. I said, please check with the rest of your friends, see if she made it to any of her other periods. At some point in this, I emailed one of her teachers asking, I actually emailed a few of her teachers and two of them responded. One of them said, no, she did not make it to class, and I checked her attendance for the rest of the day. She wasn't in school at all. Like, he sent me a screenshot of like her attendance and it said 000.
You still have that on the phone?
Yes.
Okay.
If you need to know what app, I'll tell you what app. It's a special school app.
Got it.
He said she was missing all day. And at this point, I start to panic and freak out because that can't be the case. She was dropped off. I had to go check her attendance at school, but the office had closed already. The lights were off. I could see a student sitting in there in the darkness, but I couldn't see any of the administrators or anybody in the office. Lights were off, everything was closed. They wouldn't allow me in.
Okay. Now that we've heard this story, and I'm going to put it that way in air quotes, about her this whole pickup situation, do you believe that this really happened? Do you believe she went to the school and she did all these steps not knowing about Madeline being gone, truly gone? And I mean deceased. So the question is, at what point, because I believe she knew. I personally believe by the time they called 911, that later that day, and they were at Yolanda, Jennifer's mom's office in Hunters Creek, Jennifer knew Maddie was deceased. So the question is, what do you guys think? Do you think she knew she was already gone and deceased by the time she did this alleged school pickup? Or do you think she knew after the fact? I am definitely curious what your guys' thoughts are on that. And also, it does say the school, Hunters Creek Middle School, is open till 4 p.m. I'm hearing that there should be faculty in there till maybe 5, somewhere in that range. So, yeah, I find it hard to believe that if they get out of school so late that they close up the whole school that quickly. But I can definitely find out to confirm that.
I think at this point, the teacher had responded to me and told me she didn't make it to school at all. I start having like a freak out panic attack.
Are you still just you at this point? Is it you and Stefan?
It's me and my sister. And I want to say one of them is Catherine. I start panicking and I think at this point I call Stefan and I tell him, hey, because she didn't make it. She's absent today. There's no attendance of her at all today. I'm like, right now. And he said, okay, I'll be there. And he came to the office. And there for like 3 hours, I think. Eventually I contact one of my friends whose husband works, or ex-husband works for OCP, or for you guys.
Orange County Sheriff's Office?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I messaged him and I talked to him and I asked him what I should be doing because you guys aren't responding quick enough.
Would you know his name? Where he works?
Yes. Nick Mann.
Okay.
Or Mahon.
Do you know what he does here?
think he works for SWAT.
Okay.
Sure.
Figure it out.
Yeah.
He tell you to wait.
I can't remember anymore. I think he let us know that there were other kids missing in the area, which is why you guys weren't responding quick enough. I think an 8 and a 9-year-old had gone missing around the same time too, in a playground. They forgot to tell. They didn't tell their mom they were going to the playground or something like that. So all the cops were over there on that side of Hunters Creek. My sister's boyfriend, ex-boyfriend, whatever he is, thought it would be a good idea to go to the park and talk to a cop there and see if he could bring a cop back, and that's what he did.
Okay.
And then at that point, that's when the cops started asking us questions, taking a report. Interviewing me. They interviewed Stefan. They asked Stefan to take them back to the location where he dropped them off, and he showed them wherever he dropped her off. They were looking for cameras along the path, and I don't think they found any cameras along the way to see if there was any video recordings. I think.
Did Stefan go with them in their patrol cars, or did he drive himself when they followed? How did that work?
I think he went with them in the patrol car.
Okay.
Then they came back, and then that's it. Everything was done. The cops were done. We were done.
What time? You remember what time that was on Monday?
It was after dark. It was say 8 o'clock.
What did you guys go do after that?
We were in separate cars, me and Stefan.
Okay.
I ugly cried on the way home. I shouldn't have been driving, but I ugly cried on the way home, and I went straight home. And then the first thing I did was call Fox 35 News to see if we can air some missing children information out there.
When you say ugly crying, just overly emotional tears, makeup running, or is there what is your meaning of ugly crying?
Sobbing where I couldn't see the road, and I shouldn't have been driving, I was swerving.
Makes sense. Did Fox 35 come out to your house, or what was their response?
They responded the following day. I think we did a Zoom video interview.
Did Stefan follow you home?
I don't know if he followed me, but he drove home, yeah.
I mean, was it within a reasonable time when you got there?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Drove home. We waited there. We didn't know what to do. I stayed up late. I think I called Fox 35. What else did I do? I think I had to eventually eat and take my medication. He told me he was going to go out cruising that night to go look for her. And I said, I even questioned that. I asked him, are you sure it's a good idea? You should probably sit tight. Let's just wait to see if she comes home. And he said he was going to take a drive out. I had completely forgotten about him wanting to take the drive, or that he actually did it. And it wasn't confirmed to me until the following day, where agents came to the house and we sat in the car for a good amount of time, and I noticed the chair was adjusted. And I said, did you drive my car? And he said, yeah, remember I said I was going out last night to... That's right, you did say that.
He tell you where you looked?
I think he said up and down 192, and I said, why there? And he's like, I don't know, I'm just looking. I was just trying to look anywhere. And I'm just like, okay.
Yeah. So this is a little bit new stuff intermixed in here. The fact that he took her car out, we all learned that. But up and down 192, I don't think that's where he went. But again, she says she's questioning him because why 192? And if you know the area, and if not, there's maps, and if you guys would like, I can do another map thing. I'm not as good at maps as Grizzly is, so she's is definitely got the best map information. She's got map time. But I can definitely show you the area on a map and do something on that if you guys are interested in going through some of the locations on another video. That would, 192 is not near Hunters Creek Middle School. It's not far from the apartments where they lived, but it's nowhere. It's not completely far away from Hunters Creek, but if she was allegedly went missing or she was abducted from Hunters Creek, it wouldn't make sense to search down 192. So that would be definitely something that should have been questioned.
Did he say if he found anything or talked to anybody, or just roamed?
Yeah, roamed.
When you were getting ready for bed, you were tired, emotional. Were you falling asleep when he left, or were you already asleep when he left?
I was already asleep when he left.
Okay. Did you sleep downstairs?
Yeah.
In your bedroom?
Yes.
When you woke up, was he already awake, or was he still sleeping?
He was asleep in his bedroom upstairs.
The guest bedroom?
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you take your medication that night?
I did.
What did you guys do Tuesday? Or just you? You guys, if you're not together, you're not together. What's the timeline on Tuesday?
Tuesday, he slept. I woke up early and started making phone calls to the national hotline for missing and exploited children. I called the number that the sheriff's office had given me to see if they had any information, and they let me know that she was what did she say she was? I don't remember what she said her position was, but she had just gotten into the office and was just starting to work on it, so she didn't have anything new for me. Her name was Bonnie Mitchell, I remember that. She asked me to send her some photos. The National Exploited Children's Hotline place asked me for photos as well. I think at this point, I had asked my friends and family to start contacting news outlets to try to get as much attention on this as possible.
Contacting the news was a good move, I think, and it definitely was very telling and helpful for the case and for the investigators, because she was interviewed by Fox 35 and then she was interviewed by WFTV Channel 9 here in Orlando. So those were very telling interviews from both of their reactions and the way they spoke. I think that was very, very helpful for this case. And yes, it is, if your child is legitimately gone, like missing, abducted, those kind of interviews, contacting, Nick Mick and all that sort of stuff, yeah, it's vital. It's very, very important because you want to keep their name out there, a missing person. But this was not the case with Madeline, unfortunately.
I had a lot of phone calls coming in, and I was picking all of them up, hoping that any of them could help me. But it ended up being news reporters or people who had seen my phone on my phone number on a flyer and was trying to give me suggestions. Somebody letting me know that they took flyers all the way to Orlando International Airport and posted them all over the place in case she was being trafficked. They suggested that I go to Amtrak and Greyhound. I had my sister making all these runs for me. I didn't leave the house to do any of this.
Stefan's still asleep?
Yeah.
So you're allegedly on the phone making calls and connections, which is good. Somebody needs to do that. And Stefan is sleeping. My question, Jen, is why did you never go out and search for your daughter? It's always something that's definitely a question I've had from the beginning. Because she never went out and searched for Maddie. She never did. And again, she never made the 911 calls either.
Eventually, reporters come to the house and do an interview. And at this point, Stefan was awake. I did an interview with them. And then Stefan was crying in the background. And I said, Stefan, do you want to do the interview? You can if you want. And he sat in front of the camera and did an interview where he cried.
Do you know which news outlet that was with? I know there's a video on Fox 35
with him sitting
to be on like a webcam.
Yeah, that was Zoom. He was sitting in the background for me.
Okay.
I know
but
that
you had
one.
In-person interviews with reporters?
Yes. I want to say it was Channel 9.
Okay.
Yeah, Channel 9.
And he spoke to them?
Yes.
Okay.
And he ugly cried in front of the camera too, so he was fucking fake sob crying.
So why is she all of a sudden getting upset and saying he was effing ugly crying to the camera? So she's normally defending his ass, okay? And now she's like, oh, he was ugly crying. Like, what the F? Yeah, Jen, you're just up and down, up and down, up and down. You're all over the place, okay? And some folks were going to say, oh, that's her bipolar. I don't buy that. I don't.
Are you saying that now, or do you...
I'm saying that now. I didn't think that at the time. At the time, I thought he was truly heartbroken and... Not that he had done all this shit to her. Like, I look back at shit now and just like, he was fucking lying. He was fucking faking. What else has he been lying to me about? I know he's like a master liar and manipulator because he's done it to his parents and he's told me and shown me the lies he's done to his parents. But I don't know why I never thought, not me.
The lies are about money, they're about where he's at, what he's doing, like what's he...
Yeah, all that.
To his parents?
Yeah, he's stolen money from his parents. They used to have a few $1,000s hidden in like a closet for emergency fund kind of thing. And during COVID, he stole, like, he wanted RC cars. See, if he wants something, he's gonna get it. No matter what. So, he wanted RC vehicles, the remote control cars. Fancy ones. They were a few $100s. And I'm poor. I know I can't afford it. And he's showing up at home with these things. And I asked him, where are you getting the money from? Because we don't have this money. He goes, oh, my dad. And I said, your dad gave you money? He goes, no, I took some from his closet. And I was like they have an emergency stash? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, he's gonna notice money's missing. And he's like, no, he won't. It's so much money in there, he won't notice at all. I've confirmed with Chris later.
He's an effing liar. He steals. Well, we already knew he was a thief. I mean, he stole Maddie's, Christmas money. And the birthday money, I don't know if it was left at Grandma's or it came back home. I've heard both sides to that. But, and the fact that she thought that he never would lie to her? Really, Jen? Really? I mean, you're a good liar yourself, apparently. Well, you're not very good. But you're a liar, and you are with a liar. So it's kind of like, you kind of join together, and it's all bull. Everything is all bull.
That he did notice money, but he never asked his son. But I let him know, yeah, he was robbing you and just buying himself toys. He's also lied, most recently, he lied to his parents about where he would be. He told them he would be at his friend's house playing video or board games or something like that, but in reality he came all the way to Kissimmee to hang out with us.
And I totally missed when she said, if Stefan wants something, he gets it. That seems to be true. He apparently, his nasty, perverted ass wanted Maddie, and he got her. So that's definitely true.
But you guys were together Wednesday? After all the interviews, did he stay Wednesday? Would you? I know
Yes.
we had some detectives go meet you guys Wednesday, I believe it was.
Yeah.
Were you guys in the house together till detectives came?
Yes.
What kind of happened after detectives came?
See, I feel like everything starts to get blurry.
Oh, I get it. Trust me. We've been in this
just because-
office for like 3 days straight.
Yeah, so I just don't remember what day I had conversation with you guys.
Tuesday night, Orange County detectives came out there because I ended up coming out Tuesday night.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember seeing me or not that night.
Okay.
That was the first night we were at the apartment into the nighttime.
Yeah, is that when you guys shut down the house for forensics?
Yes.
Okay.
Tell
So
us about that.
okay. So earlier that day, I think Detective Hunt came, or somebody came, and asked Stefan for his cell phone. If he would willingly give it up so that they can look at it, or if they would need a warrant. And I remember him saying, should I have asked a warrant? Should I have... And I'm like, no, if you've got nothing to hide, give him your fucking phone. And I think we hung out in the house for a little bit, and then when you guys came in the evening, and you guys told us to wait outside, and we waited in my car, he started getting very anxious and very panicky, going, I want my phone back. I want my phone back. And I said, listen, at this point, it's their phone. It's theirs for fucking ever. I don't give a shit. We will buy you a new phone. It doesn't matter anymore. Whatever they need, they need. Like, let them look at it. And he's like, I just want my phone back. And I'm just like, are you trying to make yourself more suspicious? Because, like, if you were to go demand your phone back right now, that would look suspicious as fuck. Like, what are you doing? I'm thinking he's just getting impatient because he's bored and wants to play on his phone. And at one point, he takes my phone to start playing with it. I give it up, and I said, here, play on my phone. Have fun. Because I think from my phone, he was trying to log into his emails, but he couldn't. Because you need like 2-factor authentication from your own phone. And I'm just like, what are you trying to look at? And he's like, oh, my shipments, my packages. He's addicted to buying shit. That's another thing. Me and his dad couldn't figure out where Stefan was getting money from to buy stuff since he's been unemployed the last 2 months, but he's constantly buying himself packages, buying himself things off of Amazon, buying himself things off the line.
Is this stuff you can confirm, or you think he's doing this?
What?
Buying packages.
I can confirm because I am linked to his Amazon account,
Okay.
and his parents can confirm whatever UPS packages or whatever he's getting at home. But I'm linked to his Amazon account. If you guys have my phone, you'll see whatever shipment. I think most recently I did like birthday party. If you see birthday party stuff, that was me. But everything else, him.
So he's getting all this stuff. He's got no income. He's either stealing the money, or what I think he was doing was he was selling CSAM. He was selling images. It's exactly what I think, and that's exactly how Stefan had money.
Constantly buying stuff, and he doesn't have money. He keeps saying he's got money in his savings, but me and his dad call bullshit because he hasn't had. When he lived with us, he was struggling. His dad was helping him pay his bills, paying his rent, paying his gas, paying his insurance. Stefan was helping us, supporting us by buying food and all that stuff. But I don't know what he did with the rest of his money, and I don't know where he's getting money from now.
You were telling us that he was trying to log into his emails.
So he's trying to log into his emails on his phone, and I said, 2-factor authentication, you can't do anything. You're just going to have to wait till you get your phone back. waited in the car. I think at this point, when I noticed that forensics was locking down the house and you guys said we couldn't come back, I told him to call his dad. Because I had a feeling y'all knew something and it was going to come down on him. And I'm just like, they're focusing on the wrong person. They have the wrong person. In my head, I'm convinced you guys are just, that you had the wrong person. I wanted to think that he was good.
Before we get ahead of that, what is the conversation like between you two when you're in the car? Because y'all were in there for a good while we were trying to figure things out at your apartment complex or your condo. What's the conversation like inside that car?
I'm trying to think back to what exactly we were talking about.
See, she doesn't remember certain things. That always throws me. That she just gets very quiet. Certain things she can remember like nothing. Unimportant things in this so-called story / script, she just recites like nothing. Yet, what did you talk about in the car? Oh, you mean you didn't talk about your missing daughter and what really happened and question him more? I mean, those would be the sorts of things that I would think they would be talking about.
I know I remember late in the evening, like when you guys let us know we couldn't come back, and I called his dad, or we called his dad. I started saying to him, like, I think they're focusing in on you. Like, we need to call your dad, and I think we need to get you a lawyer. I feel like they're focusing on the wrong person. And he kept saying the same thing. He kept repeating what I was repeating. That they're focusing on the wrong person. They're wasting time there.
How did he feel when you said he needs a lawyer?
He didn't believe me. Like, when I told him, like, don't you see forensics is closing down the house? They fucking know something, or there's something, like, they know something. Something's happening. They wouldn't be locking down the house this way if they didn't have suspicions of something. But I wasn't thinking, I don't know why I wasn't thinking him. Like, I was just like, no, they've got the wrong guy.
I don't know why she wouldn't think that it had something to do with him. He was allegedly the last one to see her daughter. He told her he took her to school and dropped her off on the side of the road. Okay, allegedly, which was his crap story. And you're like, well, I can't believe that he would have done anything. I mean, it's either denial or this is another BS crap that's coming out of her mouth.
He just kept saying that they have the wrong guy, that they're focusing on the wrong person, and that we're wasting time. And we call his dad. We tell his dad to come down here, and his dad did come down here and met us at a hotel. That was another thing. I don't have that much money. I live off of disability. I couldn't afford to put us up on a hotel. Like, when you guys said that we couldn't return, I was like, I didn't know where to go. I was trying to think if any family member would have a spare room or anything like that, and not that could take the three of us, or when I say three of us, I mean him and the dog. And I know at my mom's house we wouldn't have been welcome. My mom does not like Stefan. She's never liked Stefan.
I've always wondered when she says this that she didn't know where to go. Remember how she was so concerned that they were locking down her house and she had to get her medicine, and gosh, I don't know where to stay. Well, Jen, you could have stayed probably with your mom or your family and just left Stefan to figure out his own crap. I mean, you're not dating him at this point or anything, right? I mean, come on. I mean, it just never made sense to me. And of course, how concerned she was, that always bothered me.
So I knew that our only option was to go to a hotel, but I couldn't afford it. So we called Chris, and Chris met us at a hotel by Disney, off of Western Way, and that's where we went. We got there pretty late. We checked in. I used the restroom, and I was getting ready for bed, or laying down in bed probably around 3:30, 3:45 in the morning, and I fell asleep. Stefan was already asleep at this point.
Did you go straight to sleep when you got in, or just kind of drifted off as you were falling asleep? Like you went to the bathroom and he goes straight to bed?
He was already in bed before I went to the bathroom.
Okay.
I was on my phone for a little bit. He was laying in bed snoozing. I went to use the restroom. I was in the restroom for quite a while because I had like a terrible sub. When I came back out, he was asleep. At least I thought he was asleep. But
His dad stay with you guys?
not in the hotel room. He stayed in a different room on the same floor.
Okay.
The following morning, I wake up, I think around 9 o'clock in the morning, and Stefan's not there. And I remember thinking, he left again without his phone and didn't tell anyone where he was going. That's suspicious as fuck again. Why is he trying to...
Well, we took his phone, so he got a new phone?
He didn't get the new phone until later that day, where his dad woke up, came to our hotel room, and then handed him a phone.
Okay.
And said, here, have this phone in the meantime until you get your old phone back.
Oh, so you're just saying he's out and about with no phone?
Yeah, he's out and about with no phone, so there's no way for us to contact him. There's no way for us to... I didn't know if he even knew how to get back to the hotel. Because I drove that night. He's a little oblivious to when it comes to directions. So I was just like, he couldn't even figure out how to get here. But he rolled in around 11:15, rolled in with a cup of Wawa, and said, oh, I'm so sorry, I was just driving around. I grabbed some Wawa on 182 and got lost. I didn't know how to get back to the hotel, but I'm here now. And I'm just like, detectives are about to show up. What the fuck would have happened if they showed up and you weren't here? Like, you would have been a fugitive. Like, what are you doing? And he was just apologetic about not telling anyone where he went.
But you know, I mean, he had a Wawa cup and he said he was up at 192.
Yeah, but in reality, I know that he truly took my car in the middle of the night to Northport, Florida, and I was down there for an hour and came back. I didn't suspect that at all.
Okay.
I literally thought, I'm like, oh, this man, we were right next to like a a Target. So I'm thinking, oh, he's probably like stress shopping, just looking at stuff. He likes to browse. But it's like, maybe he's in there somewhere. But I didn't have a car. I couldn't go out looking, right? And also, detectives were coming, so I didn't want to leave. Detectives eventually show up. Actually, we were in the hotel room for a while. He went back to sleep and slept. I took a little snooze for a little bit that morning, and then I got up, and then I went downstairs to the lobby, and I saw Chris. And Chris asked if I wanted some lunch, so we went to the hotel bar and ate some lunch. We brought up some lunch back for Stefan, told him to eat a little bit. When he woke up, he took like 2 bites. Detective showed up. We went downstairs. They let us know that there was a press conference happening, which we already had an idea was going to happen, and they told us they would give us a ride and escort us to the conference here. and that you guys would let us in the back way so that media wouldn't see us. But in reality, now I know that was just to interview guys with us. But yeah, then we showed up here and got separated. Haven't heard from him since. Haven't spoken to him since.
Awkward little laughs, like, they took us in the back because they wanted to interview us. It's not weird at all, Jen. She hasn't seen him since. Probably a good thing. So he was snoozing, she took another nap, and then they ate food, and it seems like they sleep a lot. It's like a very crazy thing. They don't really work, or they don't work regularly, and they sleep all the time.
Yeah, that was it. Then we got interviewed.
What have you done since? Like, where did you go back to the hotel? Did you stay somewhere else?
No. So after the interview and all that stuff, Chris took me to my sister's house. I've been at my sister's house ever since.
Okay.
Yesterday I went out for a little bit to go to Target to try to take my mind off of things. I went to Target to go get myself a toothbrush and deodorant, things that I didn't have because I left the house the last second. I also went to my ex-husband's wife's mom's house. It's complicated, but we're all friends.
So,
Yeah. And they consoled me. They just kept me company. They made lunch. Then I went back to my sister's house, and I've just been pretty much there ever since. Now, when I went to Target, I decided, like, oh shit, I shouldn't be out in public. People could recognize me. It can either be good or bad, where people could tell me. I've already had people recognize me in my community, and dealing with people's heavy emotions and them coming to me and crying and telling me they're so sorry and how they feel is so heavy, because like I just have to kind of stand there and take their emotions, and like, I don't know, it's so heavy. When I realized that
It's so heavy. Wow. You mean you have to deal with what other people think about the fact that your daughter, at this point, nobody knew if she was alive or dead. Well, at the press conference, they told them, the media they had their press conference and they told the media that Madeline, they believe she was deceased. But the people that at that time, they might have been nice to you. But this is so heavy. It's so hard. I don't know, Jen. It's not all about you. It should have been more about your daughter, Madeline.
These are the interactions I was having in public. I'm like, I need to stay home because I just can't. I can't carry anyone else's emotions right now. I have my own to deal with. Like my own. I don't want my own mental health suffering right now, or for me to spiral and end up back being hospitalized.
So when did you meet Steve or Stefan?
I met Stefan in 2017. We both worked for Eco Homes, a real estate company. I did appointments, and he worked in the office doing like warranty work. We met as coworkers. We became really good friends. We were best friends for like a year. And then eventually I asked him if he wanted to hook up, and he said sure.
Gross. We're friends, and all of a sudden I said, hey, do you want to hook up? Sure. Yeah, he pretty much probably took about anything he could get. And especially since he knew you had a young daughter.
And yeah.
You said 17, 18, did you live in Orlando, Kissimmee? Where were you guys staying then?
Kissimmee.
And did you guys live together in 17?
He technically lived at his parents' house, but he was staying at my house all the time.
Okay. Same house you're in now or a different house?
Wait, I take it back. In 2017, he wasn't staying over my house. It started in 2018 when we started hooking up, and he started sleeping over my house.
Okay.
And what were your next question?
Was that in the current
Yes.
house you live in now?
Yes.
Okay. How long have you lived in that house?
On and off, because at one point we moved close to where his parents live right now. They live in North Port, Florida, Sarasota County. I lived in Port Charlotte, which is Charlotte County, the county right next door. We had an apartment there for like 6 to 8 months. We moved down there because, again, Stefan was promised a job and that fell through. So we supported ourselves in this tiny apartment for a little while until I ran out of funds.
Do you remember what year that was?
2020.
So when did you live in Port Charlotte in 2020?
I don't remember what month I moved in, but I remember moving out in November.
Of 2020?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was some... April, May.
That's fine. It's fine. We can look up if we need to later. 17. In 2017. So 2018.
6.
6. Her body.
At the same time, no. But
Okay.
I've had ex-husbands and ex-boyfriends live in that same house before.
Got it. You moved to Port Charlotte sometime in 2020 for a few months.
Yeah.
And then you came back to the same house?
After Port Charlotte, I went back to my mom's house for a little while.
Where's that at?
In Hunters Creek, Florida.
Got it.
Even before Port Charlotte, actually, the few months before I was in Port Charlotte, I was living at my mom's house.
With Stefan.
Around March 20, decided he wanted to renovate the house and possibly sell it, so he told us to get out. So March 2020, so around COVID time, like 2 weeks after COVID was announced, I moved in with my mom.
Okay.
And I lived with her for a little bit, and then the Port Charlotte apartment happened. We moved to Port Charlotte, were there for a few months, came back to live with my mom, was there for a few months, and then I decided to move back. That he was moving out and like getting an RV and like living the RV life.
Yeah.
So he needed somebody to take care of the house for him. So I said, yeah, I would do it, of course. So I moved in. I moved into his bedroom, downstairs, the master bedroom. Eventually, Stefan did come. For a few years. It wasn't until like June of last year go upstairs to the guest bedroom upstairs because I just he's not a very clean guy. He's kind of a little hoarder and a collector. So just my house was always a mess and never the way that I wanted it to look. Or the clutter just gave me anxiety. So I asked him to move upstairs and he did. And he lived upstairs until until December of last year. And then he moved to Northport, Florida with his parents. But they had promised him a job, but that fell through. So we were in the process of trying to get him to come back up here to get his job back at Disney and for him to move back into the house for a little bit. And I'm not sure long term. I know temporarily I was willing to accept him back.
Was that something out of convenience for him or because you?
A little bit of both. We missed him. And I wanted to help him out, like make it easy, like give him a place, like a base to start at, and then for him to start looking for something else afterwards on his own. But yeah.
You obviously relationship. Talk a lot. Is she a secretive teenager? What is like your kind of day to day with her?
I would have said a normal relationship. I asked, she would tell me. I didn't think she was hiding anything from me. I didn't think she was lying to me about anything, but obviously she had secrets.
I mean, the hindsight, all the stuff you found out over the past couple of days, we're going, taking that out of the picture, your relationship with her.
Okay.
Like not looking back saying, okay, I was being lied to. Like up until you found out some things that you've been told, you guys had an open communication relationship. You talk about
everything.
Life.
Yeah. If anything, she was a little bit more open with Stefan because she told him about a boy she had a crush on.
Okay.
And that his name was, and she described him, and Stefan's like, are you aware that she has a crush on a boy? I said, no. He's like, yeah, she told me his name that he's tall and that she likes his fluffy hair.
When was this? Do you remember when this conversation happened?
Within the last week sometime, but I'm not sure.
Okay.
So Jen, the fact that you claim you were close and you talked about everything, yet you're stating she was telling Stefan other things and that they were closer, that's really weird. It's not normal. And you remember the whole, I was afraid it would turn into a Woody Allen situation. Well, you can't, these just don't match up, Jen. They don't match up. You're either afraid he's getting close to her in a awkward, disgusting, perverted way, or you trust him and you can't believe your daughter is not telling you stuff. So again, there's just so many things that just don't add up.
Like within a week of that Sunday, I'm not sure if if she had told him via phone chat. It must have been via phone, like phone convert, like we don't FaceTime, we Google Meet.
The Android
version of FaceTime, yeah. So we would Google Meet often. Sometimes when we get home from school, just talk all day, or sometimes not even talk all day. We would just bullshit. I would be doing my own thing. He would be doing. We're just keeping each other company on the phone. And I think in one of those conversations, she told him that she had a crush on a boy. But I checked those text messages with that boy, and nothing seemed weird either. So.
How did he? It could be new. She sees a guy at school. She thinks it's attractive. He shows her attention. She's young. How did he take it? Was he like? And I want you to think back before you know things you know now. Like, did he seem concerned about her? Did he seem excited for her? Like she's starting to, be a kid and have crushes and everything else. Like,
he seemed happy for her.
Okay.
He's like, yeah, did you hear this? This is super cute. And I was like, oh. I She hadn't told me, and I wondered. I'm like, why didn't she tell me? Why did she tell him and not me? Like, I want to know who she got a crush on. But maybe it's because I told her she had a rule. She wasn't allowed to date for a few years until like I think I had said 16 or something like that. But I didn't want her dating.
So then your relationship with her was open. Obviously, she's a child. She's not going to share everything.
Yeah.
With him, it seems like she has a very open relationship with him. They talk, they hang out. So it'd be okay with you if they went out and did things together outside if you were at work or something? So the living situation with them, I'll be honest, seems weird. It's weird to me. She's got a bedroom downstairs. What's kind of the mindset or the thought process, the communication you've had with Stefan about, she's not going to sleep in her bed, but you guys are going to go sleep in the guest bedroom?
So originally the plan was that all three of us were going to sleep in my bed together.
And I'm not just saying Sunday, I mean like.
Oh, okay.
Like in the past too.
So I had a rule. She wasn't allowed to sleep in his bedroom at all. Like, no sleepovers, no nothing. For a very long time. For years.
Since we're pausing,
yeah.
What brought that on? Was that like a request of his? Like, can we sleep in the same bed? Request of hers? Or you just saying?
And me being super paranoid, not to trust anyone. For the longest life, even though he treated her well, I still looked at him on, like side-eye, like making sure, like, is that normal? Is this okay? That looks normal. Okay. I wanted to make sure that nothing was happening and that I was missing something, but I was. But he never requested. I'm sorry. Repeat the question then.
So I guess you said like you had a rule. Like obviously we know now they've slept in the same bedroom together and everything else. I'm sure you're questioning a lot of things that like you haven't been told or that are going on. The thought process of them sleeping in the same bedroom caused you to say that you had a rule for the longest time where they couldn't.
Yeah.
I have a son. He's a lot younger than her. He's 4. But I guess if I was dating somebody or had somebody over, I would never establish, and this is just me, a rule. He can't sleep in the bed with her, or she's not going to be. It wouldn't even be a thought process for me. So that's why I asked, because I wouldn't think of it even as an option.
Yeah.
So when you say you had a rule, I guess I'm asking what prompted the rule.
Sleepovers before. Yeah. Like, you want to watch movies and eat snacks? Can we do that? I'm like, no. We can all watch movies down here together. We can all sleep down here together. Up until June, together all the time. So we were always. She would sleep in the middle. I would sleep on this side. He would sleep on the other side. It wasn't until June that he got his own bedroom and I sent him upstairs. That's where the requests for sleepovers started.
Okay.
And I kept telling her no. I'm not comfortable with that. But eventually at some point, like we really want to watch, I forgot what movie it was. They really wanted to watch something and I was really tired. And I said, okay, fine. Go ahead, but this can't happen often. And yeah, I allowed her to go upstairs and sleep with him. But honestly, I think I can count on one hand how many times that's happened, and it hasn't been many times that I've allowed her to have a supper party with him, to be alone in a bed with him.
Okay, I believe it's more, for one. And 2, a slumber party with a grown man. It's not her father. It's disgusting. It is wrong, Jen. It's wrong. It's one thing if they were sitting on the couch and, had their popcorn snacks and they were watching it and they weren't, cuddling or anything like that. But to be in a bed together in a slumber party, no. That is not appropriate at all.
I'm usually around all the time. Up until 2 weeks ago, I was pretty much at home all the time living on disability. If I wasn't at home, just, I was substitute teaching, but I was substitute teaching primarily at her school or at the school close by, but I'd make sure I'd get out around the same time, and I'd get out in time to pick her up and take her. So she was with me pretty much all the time when she wasn't at school.
I think that this is crap. She wasn't with you most of the time. And if she was with you, then how could she have been abused? How could that have happened, Jen?
So yeah, after...
When he's not there, where does she sleep?
With me.
She never sleeps in her room?
No, always with me.
Quickly, do you know, and you may hate the question, but do you have any idea? We currently have upwards, probably 200 people working on finding. Right, the Orange County Sheriff's Office is involved, the Kissimmee Police Department's involved, St. Cloud Police Department, Osceola County Sheriff's Office, Florida Department of Law Enforcement, FBI. Yes, under suspicious circumstances. So anybody who is somebody is involved.
Yeah.
So regardless of the circumstances, those people don't get to go home. Those people don't get to go back to their families. Those people don't get to live their lives and go back to their primary jobs. I know the sheriff has probably expressed to you that's his number one priority. I'm sure the Kissimmee Police Department's expressed that to you, our detectives. This isn't something that's going to stop or go away.
Yeah.
Right? Anybody who knows something, anybody who may know something, will be brought into a room, they will be talked to, whether they're guilty, whether they're innocent. Because our number one priority, our jobs have kind of stopped on any other things we have going on until it's fine, because that's the most important thing anybody has going on right now. But with that, a lot of people are going to feel that whatever happened, I can tell you, and I know detectives expressed to you that the thought process at this point is this is a homicide investigation.
Yeah.
Based on the evidence I've seen, based on the videos I've seen, I do believe. With that being said, and the reason I tell you that, not to be an asshole, is because the thought process with us leads it in a different investigation, a different way. Meaning, whatever has already happened, right? We cannot change what happened most likely on Monday. We cannot change the fact that I believe Stefan killed her, right? All we can do now is find her as quickly as possible. On the 2% chance we're wrong and that she is alive, that's phenomenal, right? That's the best thing that could happen. On the chance that we are 100% correct and she has passed away, finding her now versus later will bring closure to your family, will bring closer to everybody, regardless of how it happened or why it happened. Meaning, if you have an inclination, if you know where she's at, if his father knows, that doesn't mean those people get held accountable for what he did. It doesn't mean those people get held accountable for knowing what he did. It means we close out the investigation. You know what I mean? So a lot of times we go into rooms like this and we ask people questions. We say, hey, do you know what happened? Do you know what happened? And there's this fear of what happened already happened. I can't change that. So I'm not going to insert myself with knowledge because it's going to make me look bad. Regardless, at this point, I murdered her, right? He victimized her. He ruined her entire life from childhood until now. I think that there's probably some sense of guilt. And my fear is that sense of guilt is causing you to not want to assist in the location of her, not because you're a bad person, but because there's that sense of guilt that what was happening under your roof, and now by her being found brings that all to your plate, and it doesn't.
Oh no. If I knew anything, I would so tell you. I want to even if she's dead, because you guys tell me your suspicions, but I'm not going to believe it until I have her body.
So there are things, and the reason I say these things, and again, I'm not trying to be an asshole, but the reason I say these things is there's been a lot of things you've said, and a lot of things I've kind of researched between the Fox 35 story, between your initial statement to the police. A lot of things have changed. The initial statement to the police was you watched her get dressed, you watched her leave, you knew exactly what she was wearing.
Can I tell you
Absolutely.
my thought process on that, or where I came from with that? I was handed this form, and I'm like, where do I start? What do I write? And somebody said, tell them what you saw. And so I started with I saw. And then I wrote out what I wrote out. But it wasn't until later I was like, wait, I didn't see her. I assumed that I saw her. I assumed that I heard her, but I didn't. In reality, I didn't see her. I only saw him, and I heard something in the kitchen, but I don't know who that was.
Which we've talked about today. But I guess there's other concerns. Right? You were nervous. The police have showed you their hand. They said, Stefan, we want your phone. Stefan, we want to talk to you. We're going to lock down your residence. You can't go back inside. Me? I don't care if it's the love of my life sitting next to me. I don't care if it's maternal grandma. If the police come and take my mom's phone and my son's disappearance, I'm not going to offer my mom a lawyer. That's nuts to me. That to me shows you prioritizing Stefan. Because at that point you became more worried about him being falsely accused than any. Does that make sense what I'm saying? Whether or not that's what you felt, does that make sense? People having lawyers is their constitutional right. That is a thing that everybody is afforded. But for somebody who's going through what you are going through, to offer him a lawyer leads me to believe that there may have been a conversation, there may have been knowledge, or there may have been some inclination that you had, whether it be his involvement, her location, or something to where in your mind there's guilt.
I promise you.
Because you offering him a lawyer is very weird.
I know. That was still me under the assumption that I think at one point you guys interviewed me, and when you guys showed me the picture of her, I believed the sexual stuff, but I didn't want to believe that he had done anything evil to her. I'm like, no, what if he did this stuff fine, but what if she's still missing out there? What if somebody took her? I still wanted to believe I believed him. I believed his whole story. So I was just like, I kept repeating that part. I'm just like, what if she did get dropped off? What if she got abducted? What if she's missing? But that was me assuming that you guys had the wrong guy. I wanted to think he was a good guy still, but clearly he's not. After everything you guys have told me and have shown me, I know he's the worst person on this face of the earth.
We know that now. We know he's a piece of shit now.
You know.
But you didn't know that then.
I didn't.
Then you offered a guy who the police suspected of kidnapping, abducting, assisting the disappearance.
I really like this detective. I think this is Smallwood. He's trying to be a little sympathetic with her, even though he really pushes her throughout a lot of these interviews. Oh, I wanted to believe he was still a good guy and the sex wasn't anything. No. Jen, it wasn't sex, okay? It wasn't sex. Your daughter was AR'd, okay? I've got to be careful on YouTube here. And she was used for CSAM material, okay? She was abused. She had a miserable life with Stefan when you brought him into your world. You brought him into Maddie's world. And guess what? Her life was awful. It was hell.
Offered him a lawyer. And then we don't have to roundtable that. You went back to what you just said is the sex stuff is fine.
It's not fine.
Hold on. I know every relationship is different, and I know everybody's family is different. I won't ask, but going back on, has he expressed interest in, I'll use the word weird, I'm not going to shame anybody for what they like, different sexual pleasures, different sexual experiences, different kinks that involve things you weren't comfortable with?
The only thing he's ever expressed to me was like anal.
Okay.
He had an anal kink and like butts.
Okay.
But that was something I was never comfortable with or doing. And I let him know that. Like that's not like something.
That's fine. You guys slept in the same bed together. Stephen was a big portion of your life at one point. Stefan was a big portion of your life at one point. And this is not me coming at you as a person or a bad person, because shit happens in the past, and the past is the past. We can't change the past. Has he ever expressed to you? Never. Has he ever made these statements about made you feel different?
No.
Okay. When you guys slept in the same bed together, in the middle, did you ever wake up and find them cuddling? Did you ever wake up and find them closer than you thought they should be?
They would snuggle, yeah.
Okay.
But we all snuggle. I didn't think that was abnormal.
So if you guys are sleeping in the same bed and she's in the center, you've woken up and they're snuggling, they're under the same blanket, they're not under the same blanket?
No.
But just like
she's got her own blanket.
Spooning for what? What is snuggling to you? Because to me, snuggling, spooning, big spoon, little spoon.
He would lay down like this, and she would be right here in in the nook.
Okay. How do you guys sleep? Do you guys sleep clothed, unclothed? I sleep clothed. Yeah. Shirt, pants, pajama sets.
Yes.
Everybody.
I sleep in like my everyday clothes.
Okay.
On pajamas or baggy t-shirts and shorts.
Okay.
And Stefan would sleep with his t-shirt or boxers, sometimes with his pants on, but he didn't have pajamas.
Okay, so they would snuggle, sometimes him being in his boxers. You would wake up and she'd be in the nook of his arm, essentially in a cuddling position. And you never found that weird?
No.
Okay. Again.
Sick. It's weird. It's not at all normal. And this detective is trying to tell you, hello, you're letting your daughter sleep with a grown-ass man in his boxers, and she's cuddling with him. No. Nothing about that is okay. It is sick, and it's just wrong. You should have immediately saw that as red flags. You state, oh, my mom taught me to never trust a man. Obviously, again, that's bull crap. It's bull. Because you trusted Stefan all this time. So you just continue to contradict yourself, and it's really, really old.
Again, you and I may find things different. Why? And I don't want you to look back on it, because now you know you victimized her for a long time. Right? Under your roof. With you home, most likely, because you said you're always home. You just got this job. You've been living off disability. I know the Kissimmee Police Department has showed you pictures. I know they've verbally explained to you some pictures. I can tell you that today, we are still downloading his Google Drives. We are still going through his social medias, his cloud-based servers, and everything else. And we can now piece back her victimization in your house under your care to 2020. I believe we've gone as far back as in when she... So when I ask, they've woken up cuddling, did you find things suspicious? Did you have an open relationship? He talked to you? Has he made inappropriate statements? It's almost like cheating, right? Like, have you ever been cheated on? Okay. Somebody can only cheat on somebody for so long until they fuck up, or until something comes out, or somebody says something, right? So we go back to 2020, we're looking at a minimum of 3.5 years. 3.5 years where I'm sure you guys are sexually active. You guys... Yes. So for 3.5 years under your care in your house, not only was he being sexually active with you, you had a sexual relationship.
Now the tears or fake tears come. Again, let me know your thoughts on her crying moments. But no, Jen, I just don't believe, and these detectives don't believe, you couldn't have suspected this. It's just mind-blowing. You couldn't suspected how disgusting and gross Stefan was and is. And I venture to say that that's because you have some issues yourself. And I'm not talking about your bipolar disorder.
And I know it's an emotional thing, and I know it sucks to hear. But where I'm coming from is it seems like something that you can't hide forever. You guys live in a small space, close quarters, you sleep in the same bed. You guys all talk, you guys all share things. You're an observant person for the most part, I assume. Outside of taking medications and going to sleep, it seems very difficult. A lot of grown-ass adults can't hide an affair with somebody who doesn't live with them, let alone somebody who does live with them. So at a certain point, I do believe you became aware of what was going on.
No.
And when I say that, it doesn't mean you're in trouble. It doesn't change.
I know, but
But I do believe that a reasonable person, and I consider you a reasonable person, right? Do you think you're a reasonable person?
yes.
Would be aware that under her roof, sexual relation.
I had no idea.
The videos, the text messages, the images, they're all documented forever. This has been an ongoing thing. And at her age, I think she probably thought they were in a relationship. She probably thought they were in love because he her male attention, right? She just started liking boys, right? She just got a crush. Up until then, her crush at the same time, you guys are sleeping in the same bed together. You guys are all cohabitating. She's not sleeping in her room. But you felt the need to establish a rule that they couldn't sleep in the same room. But when you established that rule, for 3 years, she's already been dating him, essentially.
I had
Whether
no
that's
idea.
legal or not.
I had no idea.
So I truthfully believe, and this is my belief, I'm not speaking for other detectives, I'm not speaking for the sheriff's office, the state police department, or any other agency I've said. This is Kevin's belief. I believe that you became aware of their sexual relationship. I think at a certain point throughout this relationship, you became aware of it. And for whatever reason, your reasons are your reasons, whether it was discussed that it would stop, whether it was discussed how it would go, that you feel some sense of guilt. A lot of the news statements you've given kind of, again, my opinion only, I don't speak for anybody else, whether it's in this room or out of this room, bother me. It seems like some of your emotion, up until this room, I think some of the emotion in this room is sincere. I think a lot of it's because I'm being an asshole. I'm telling you things you don't want to hear that shouldn't be said out loud. But when you talk to the news, when you talk to deputies, it feels, based on my experience in this job, that it's not sincere. I feel like some of your sadness is not real sadness. I feel like when you gave the interview with Fox 35, it was not sincere. Looking at that video one time, I didn't feel like your cries were sincere. And I'm not saying that because you're a bad person. I feel like sometimes people struggle to show real emotion when they're aware of what the truth is. So it has to be fake. This is demise for the past, let's say, 5 years, right? But her going missing, her disappearance, if you have knowledge of how it happened, where it happened, an inclination, that emotion's not going to feel sincere because you're already aware of what happened.
I would.
It's almost becomes
If
a
I
lie
knew,
at that point.
if I knew anything, I promise you, I would tell you. Like, I am willing to take a lie detector test, whatever the fuck you want, but I don't know anything. He's never mentioned anything. I've never seen any signs. I tried watching her like a hawk. I thought I was doing a good job, but I wasn't. I was oblivious to everything. 4 years.
Minimum. And that's just how that far back the cloud goes. And I find it hard to believe for me that you were so worried about how many pills she took at night, but not where she slept or what relationship she was. His interest in her.
I thought we were all safe. I thought because that he hadn't shown me anything so far, like everything seems fine. Like he seems like he treated her like
he treats you. In his mind.
It's so fucking disgusting.
So now he's in jail because of what we found on his phone, not because somebody came forward and reported that he abuse.
No, I know.
She's not old enough to consent. She's not old enough to have a thought process to even want anything that was happening to her. It's abuse. So he's in jail for that, but something caused what happened, right? We searched for murder, because we can call it a murder. She didn't die naturally. She didn't overdose. She didn't have a heart attack. We circled murder on Monday. Something had to cause that. He's been having unrestricted sexual activity for a long time. He's getting what he wants from her, probably from you, and who knows whoever else, right? So it's not like he woke up or went to bed Sunday and he was like, you know what? I'm done with this, but I'm going to kill her. Something happened. People don't just wake up and like, you know what? They leave people, they break up with people, but usually things cause people to snap. Now, what? You know what? And I'm in trouble, or I feel like I'm going to, or him being out. We can go even worse. She's pregnant.
That's what questions last night led me to believe when we started talking about her period.
I was told that her and her friend, and granted, I'm male, never had a period, but that somebody found it weird that they were no longer on the same cycle. Could be different because she's a teenage girl. Could be that she missed her period. Have you ever found a pregnancy test at home that wasn't yours?
I have two underneath the bathroom sink, but I haven't seen if they're still there or not.
Okay. But you haven't seen any used ones in the trash?
No.
Their relationship hasn't changed?
No.
Okay. So what do you think happened Sunday? Other than him killing her, what do you think made him snap?
I don't know. Theories, I keep hearing.
Tell me your theories, because here's the deal. We don't go home until she's found.
No, I know.
So what are your theories?
What I've heard is, what if she upset him and threatened to tell me and say that she was going to tell me and he needed to shut that down? That's the only thing.
What do you think?
I don't want to believe he killed her. But from what you guys are telling me, he must have killed her Sunday night and snuck her body out in the morning. That photo you guys showed me of her slumped in the car.
You don't want to believe he killed her.
I want to believe she's still alive and that she got kidnapped, but that doesn't seem like that's the case at all.
Yeah.
I know my brain just wants to believe something else. I just want to believe she's still alive. She's out there.
That was a lot, and I'm going to stop this part here. I'm going to finish the part tomorrow to finish getting through this, and then we have Stefan's turns. This was a lot. Again, there was some repetitiveness at the beginning, but I think it's very important this interview was very important, as they all are. And I just don't believe her. I I don't believe she was in denial. I believe she knew a lot more. And I believe these detectives think the same thing. Definitely Kevin does. He's not buying her story, and he's basically telling her, we think you know stuff. And she's like, oh, I don't know. And then, what do you think? What do you think set Stefan off? I don't know. She was going to tell me. No, My theory is she was either going to tell on him, not to you, because I think personally my feeling on is you already knew. You knew about all this. I think she was going to go tell a teacher, someone in authority, or like they're suggesting, maybe she was pregnant or he thought she could be pregnant. That's always been a question that is up in the air in this case. But something set him off, and I think you still do know a lot more. But again, I'm going to leave it where we have it here. With that said, that's all I've got for this one. Again, head over to Grizzly True Crime and check out her channel and hit subscribe if you haven't already. I hope you guys have a great rest of the day. Make sure you take good care of yourselves. This is a tough one. And most of all, stay safe.